What's up, fantasy managers? Welcome back to another episode of the First Pitch Podcast brought to you by PitcherList.com. My name is Jake Crumpler, and I'll be your host for this edition of the podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler, and you can find all of my work at CrumplerBaseball.com. Let's dive into everything baseball related from Wednesday, June 4th. We'll start it off, as always, with the transactions, injuries, news, and notes from around the league. Kicking things off with the bad news is starting pitcher Hunter Green was placed on the 15-day IL with a groin strain. It's the same injury that forced Green to miss 2 weeks in May, so he may be due for a longer absence this time around. Wade Miley signed a major league contract in a corresponding move, and I'd expected him to take over in the rotation. However, he pitched out of the bullpen on Wednesday, so Green's rotational replacement remains to be seen at the moment. Our other IL placement is second baseman Lenyn Sosa, who was placed on the 10-day IL with a hip flexor strain. It looks like to replace him, Josh Rojas is going to shift from third base to second base. Miguel Vargas will shift from first base to second base, and Tim Elko was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move to take over at first base. That's Lenyn Sosa to the IL. In terms of transactions, starting pitcher Kumar Rocker was activated from the 15-day IL after he'd missed some time with his shoulder impingement. He was activated to start in Tampa Bay. He tossed 3 innings, allowing 6 hits and 5 earned runs while walking 2 and striking out 5. However, he did display some increased velocity close to 100 miles per hour as Rocker induced 16 whiffs with 36% CSW across 66 pitches. So there's a little bit for Rocker to hang his hat on here. He definitely displayed more stuff for me to get interested in than he had prior to being injured, despite the lack of success in this one. In a corresponding move, Cody Hoyer was optioned to the minors. Next, we have first baseman Lamont Wade Jr., who was designated for assignment by the Giants. He's been a long time first baseman for them. Reclamation project in the early days of the Farhan Zaidi program there in San Francisco, but his time is done after he really struggled there to start the season. Dominic Smith signed a major league contract in a corresponding move, and it looks like he's going to be on the strong side of a first base platoon with Casey Schmidt in San Francisco for the time being. Next, we have starting pitcher Mick Abel, who was recalled from the minors to start in Toronto. He tossed 6 innings, allowing 4 hits and 1 run while walking 2 and striking out 5, inducing 12 whiffs with 25% CSW across 89 pitches. It's possible Abel sticks in the rotation with Taiwan Walker now pitching out of the bullpen, but that remains to be seen. Hopefully he sticks because Abel is dope. Next, we have starting pitcher Sawyer Gipson-Long, who was activated from the 60-day IL, where he was on due to recovering from Tommy John surgery, and he started in Chicago, where he tossed 3 2/3 innings, allowing 5 hits and 3 earned runs, walking 1 while striking out 3, inducing 12 whiffs with 31% CSW across 70 pitches. So there's still a little bit of seasoning for Gibson to get underway as he gets through the season. Just needs to get some more starts under his belt, and he'll be looking much better. I think Gipson-Long's stuff is really good. And our last transaction involves third baseman Max Muncy, who is recalled from the minors. He will be the A's everyday third baseman for the time being, with Gio Urshela and Miguel Andujar on the IL. And then in terms of news, starting pitcher Pablo Lopez is expected to be placed on the 15-day IL with a lat strain. And unfortunately, that timeline for his return is expected to be 8 to 12 weeks. So Pablo Lopez out 2 to 3 months. Very unfortunate. It looks like David Festa is the likeliest replacement in the rotation for Pablo Lopez. Now we'll take a look at our notable performances from Wednesday, a day in which we had just 14 games on the slate as the matchup between the Royals and Cardinals was postponed and will be made up in a doubleheader today. We'll start it off with our hitters, leading off with first baseman Pete Alonzo, who helped the Mets to a win in Hollywood, going 2 for 4 with 2 runs, 2 homers, and 5 RBIs. He's up to 14 homers on the season now. First one traveled 392 feet at 104 miles per hour, and the second one went 447 feet at 112 miles per hour. And Alonzo is in the midst of a career year with career best marks in the batting average and WRC plus departments. But is this something he can keep up, or is he going to revert to the version of Alonzo we're used to? Well, Alonso's being more aggressive on pitches in the zone and making more contact than ever as a result. Maintaining his chase rate while increasing his aggressive approach in the zone has led to a career high 11% walk rate as well. And then on the batted ball side, Alonzo's usually impressive StatCast metrics are off the charts this year, as his 20% barrel rate and 55% hard hit rate are career highs. Ultimately, my verdict is that this is real for Pete Alonzo. I am not selling high where I have him. Next, we have third baseman Matt Chapman, who helped the Giants to a win versus the Padres, going 1-for-4 with a run, a home run, and 2 runs batted in. It was his 11th homer of the year, and it traveled 362 feet at 101 miles per hour. In his second year in San Francisco, Chapman is taking a different approach to the same level of success. His 128 WRC plus is only slightly better than the 121 mark he posted last year, but this year he's gotten there by being patient. A career low swing rate has Chapman sporting the best walk rate of his career at 15%, without taking away from his ability to impact the ball, as his 11% barrel rate and 51% hard hit rate support a solid power ceiling. Chapman has laid a stronger foundation this season with his new approach, and StatCast suggests his ceiling is increased and a hot summer is in store for him in San Francisco. And lastly, we have first baseman Kyle Manzardo, who helped the Guardians to win in the Bronx, going 1-for-4 with a run, a home run, and an RBI. It was his 11th homer of the year, and it traveled 405 feet at 104 miles per hour. And Manzardo got off to a hot start in April, earning spots on fantasy rosters everywhere, as he made up for a 220 batting average with 8 homers and a 136 WRC plus. But are his season-long numbers being propped up by that hot opening month? Since then, Manzardo has posted a measly 202 batting average with a trio of homers and an 80 WRC plus, and that includes his homer on Wednesday. Strikeouts have once again become an issue for Manzardo, as he's fanning nearly 30% of the time after punching out just a quarter of the time through April. I think it's unfortunately looks like Manzardo is reverting back to his former self, and I'd say you should probably be dropping him or looking to trade him where you can. It's not too late to jump ship. But if you'd like a breakdown of other notable hitting performances, check out the Daily Batters Box article over on PitcherList.com. Now we'll head to the mound and check out some notable starting pitching performances, opening with Tony Gonsolin, who did all he could, but the Dodgers lost to the Mets. He tossed 5 innings, allowing 3 hits and 2 earned runs while walking 3 and striking out 6. He induced 17 whiffs with 36% CSW across 90 pitches. Those 70 whiffs led baseball on Wednesday to earn Gonsolin the gallows pole. Facing a lefty-heavy lineup, Gonsolin attempted to pull off the BSB, and I say attempted because it wasn't too great, but it was successful. He found a ton of success with his four-seamer, as it induced 7 whiffs and 34% CSW, as he earned 6 outs on balls in play with the pitch, while Gonsolin's splitter churned 6 whiffs with 34% CSW. His curveball was awfully commanded, but it didn't really matter, as it returned 44% CSW, while Gonsolin's slider left a lot to be desired, accounting for the only homer he served up in this one, and that was to Pete Alonzo. But this was otherwise a stellar performance from Gonsolin. From a pitcher that was looking to get back on track after 3 poor outings, this was really needed for Gonsolin. Now he gets the Padres in San Diego next. I think I'm fine starting that, though I'm not super eager to do so. I don't expect an incredible performance from Gonsolin, but the win chance is pretty high. Next, we have Mike Burroughs, who helped the Pirates to a win versus the Astros, tossing 5 1/3 shutout innings, allowing 5 hits and no walks while striking out 6. He induced 10 whiffs with 34% CSW across 70 pitches. And Burroughs' first 2 career starts weren't great, but he turned in his first good major league start on Wednesday, thanks to incredible changeup feel, as it induced 6 whiffs for 42% CSW, while he earned enough strikes with his mid-90s heater and created enough outs with his slider. Burroughs is far from overwhelming, and he hasn't really displayed good enough command thus far to make up for it. But with the Marlins next, I think he could keep this rolling. That fastball is pretty solid, and if one of those or both of those secondaries show up for Burroughs, I think he can find success against the lowly Marlins. And lastly, we've got Luis Ortiz, who helped the Guardians to win in the Bronx, tossing 5 2/3 shutout innings, allowing 3 hits and 3 walks while striking out 7. He induced 14 whiffs with 33% CSW across 92 pitches, and Ortiz chewed up the Yankees, finding strikes with his 3 main offerings consistently and locating his heater upstairs to lefties effectively to make up for his lack of changeup feel. Ortiz's heater led his arsenal with 5 whiffs, while his slider returned 32% CSW as it was thrown all over the zone. His sinkers did enough to give hitters a different look, returning 4 whiffs and 32% CSW. And it's still a bit chaotic with Ortiz, but he's been making it work and just took down the big bad Bronx Bombers. So I think we can roll with him again with the Reds outside of Cincinnati next time up. That's Luis Ortiz. And if you'd like a breakdown of every single start from Wednesday, give the Plus Pitch podcast a listen and check out Nick's daily SP roundup over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the bullpen and check out the relievers that got saves and the closers that pitched outside of save situations or blew their saves. Starting with the former, Randy Rodriguez recorded his first save of the season as he got the final 2 outs in the ninth after Ryan Walker only secured 1 out in the ninth while putting 2 runners on base. I'd really love for Rodriguez to get more opportunities in the ninth, but this looks to be Camilo Doval's role for now. I think he threw a lot of pitches on Tuesday, which was the reason why he didn't pitch in this one. Next, we have David Bednar, who recorded his 7th save with a scoreless ninth. Tommy Kahnle recorded his 8th save with a perfect 9th. Will Vest pitched a perfect 7th and 8th in that one to earn his 5th win. Kyle Finnegan is up to 17 saves after his scoreless 9th on Wednesday. Tyler Kinley recorded his 2nd save with a perfect 9th. Seth Halverson had pitched on back-to-back days, so Kinley was filling in for the Rockies on Wednesday. Justin Martinez worked around a run while walking 4 and striking out 4 across the final 5 outs of the game to earn his 5th save of the season. Pete Fairbanks worked around an unearned run to record his 11th save. And lastly, Felix Bautista pitched a scoreless 9th to earn his 11th save. And in terms of closers to pitch outside of save situations or blow their saves, Emmanuel Clase pitched a scoreless 9th up by 4. Jeff Hoffman recorded the final out of the 9th before the Blue Jays walked it off to take home his 5th win. Raisel Iglesias surrendered a run while pitching the 9th down by 1. And lastly, Yohan Duran pitched a perfect 9th with a 5-run lead. He hadn't pitched since Saturday, so this was a maintenance outing. But if you'd like more information on relievers, check out Rick Graham's weekly articles over on pitcherlist.com. And before we look forward to today's games, we're going to take a quick break. Now we'll look forward to Thursday, June 5th, a day in which we'll have just 13 games on the slate, but we will have a doubleheader between the Royals and Cardinals. My matchup of the day is Robbie Ray versus Dylan Cease, 2 guys with incredible strikeout ceilings. It should be fun to watch. Lefty versus righty. Intra-division matchup. I think it should be fun to watch. Robbie Ray versus Dylan Cease. In terms of probable starters, we've got 6 guys in the auto starts tier, including both Ray and Cease. We've also got Max Fried versus the Guardians, Brand Wu versus the Orioles, Framber Valdez in Pittsburgh, and Jesus Luzardo in Toronto. Our probably starts tier also has 6 guys, and our questionable starts tier also has 6 guys, and that's where we'll find our streamer of the day in Colin Ray in our nation's capital. Ray is a solid Toby with a great win chance against the lowly Nationals, so I'll be streaming him there. I'd also keep an eye out for Landon Knack versus the Mets. He's in the do not starts tier, but you got a solid chance for a win with any Dodgers starting pitcher. And the Mets lineup is pretty scary, but it's not, the elite of the elite because of some of the injuries that they're dealing with. In terms of hitter suggestions, I look at Royals and Cardinals hitters in their doubleheader. The pitching matchups will be Noah Cameron versus Miles Mikolas in Game 1. Game 2, we'll see Cole Reagans versus Matthew Liberatore. So target Royals and Cardinals hitters for double at-bats on Thursday. And I'd also look at Twins and A's hitters in Sutter Health Park. It's played very hitter-friendly this year, and the pitching matchup isn't anything to tune in for, as the Twins starting pitcher has still to be determined, and the A's will shift Mitch Spence from the bullpen to the rotation. So I don't expect that to be a smooth transition. So I'll be starting Twins and A's hitters in Sutter Health Park. And now we'll close things out with our relievers to watch. Felix Bautista has pitched on back-to-back days, so I'd expect Brian Baker to be the Orioles' temporary closer on Thursday. And lastly, Pete Fairbanks has pitched on back-to-back days, so Garrett Clevenger should be the temporary closer for the Rays on Thursday. But that'll do it for today's episode of the First Pitch Podcast. Make sure to head on over to pitcherlist.com to check out all of the great articles and features we have on the site. Sign up for PL Plus or PL Pro to gain access to the Discord and to support the Pitcher List staff. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler. Tune in live on YouTube tomorrow and every day for a new installment of the podcast. Trevor Hooth will be with you tomorrow and throughout the weekend. And make sure to enjoy the day as we are blessed with another day of baseball.